Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Yes, we have started a little bit early, but we get on with it. Let me just see here. We are live finally. Good evening. Just let you all catch up, and it's going to be an interesting one tonight. So, the big news that cracked this afternoon is the Matt O'Reilly one. Celtic are obviously going to turn down an offer for Matt O'Reilly. One of Celtic says, "We man sham." There's only a few folk in the house here. He'll passes San Fran Celtic. And then I've just got Sky News on just to see if there's any breaking headlines, but there's none. Graham Hardy is in the house. Let me go back on this. Is easier with this? No, because you don't see the comments. Why is the comment section will come up on here? Comments, confused. Just comments. Let me just do this. And go into this one. There we go. That's a bit better. Jeff Ray is in the house. John O'Neill is in the house. There's currently 53 viewers. Make sure that you do give the video a big thumbs up. And then we'll wait till a few more get on and then we'll crack on with the Celtic news. Smell the Glove is in the house. If you missed the live last night, you missed. I have to mention this also. We are on tonight. If you are watching and you haven't subscribed, make sure that you subscribe because I want to get this number up here to 15,000 for Valentine's Day. So this number up here, I want to get it up to 15,000, but it's 14,769. This is live, the live count. I want to get that up to 15,000 by Valentine's Day. Right, let's get back to the Celtic news. And Pat Maguire's in with one of his usual ones tonight. And any word on the price of that offer? Nah, San Fran Celtic. I don't think Celtic are going to even mention any type of money at all that are involved due to the fact that they're going to knock back the offer. They're going to knock back the offer. They're going to keep Matt O'Reilly till the summer. But then what happens in the summer? That's the big one. What happens in the summer? So I'm going to go back to look online and had a look around about some of the Spanish sites to see what they're saying about this Atletico. One of the Twitter accounts that I came across was Atletico Universe. And it's interesting because they've been loaning some players out and they've been getting players in on loan. So it's obviously financial reasons that they're wanting Matt O'Reilly on loan. Atletico will pay 500,000 loan fee for Mosi Kian. His salary will be covered by Aldete. They're getting in a few players, but they also say that Celtic are ready to reject Atletico Madrid's offer for their 23-year-old midfielder Matt O'Reilly. And then there is a couple of articles in Spain covering it as well. But they're obviously wanting their player. You've got to remember, Atletico have got a really young team, and this is one reason. This is one reason that I think this will happen in the summer. Now, I did say it in this afternoon's video. I did say, look, this nonsense that he's going to go to a Watford, to a Southampton, to a West Ham, to teams like that, it's never going to happen. Matt O'Reilly is the type of player that he is the type of player that's going to go to the top of Europe. And we've seen the way that he's developed at Celtic. I do hope that Celtic can manage to keep a hold of him. It's all going to depend on what the player's thinking in the summer. If he's got that chance to go to Atletico Madrid, I think he's going to take it because, let's face it, it's a fantastic stadium just on the outskirts of town. The lifestyle, well, the lifestyle is absolutely amazing. And he'll play fantastic football in fantastic weather conditions, apart from the winter when it can get cold when they're playing up north. But when it comes to it, I think he'll make the move in the summer, unfortunately. Right, there's news coming out this evening also about Mikey Johnston. Mikey Johnston has been eyed up by West Brom Albion. West Brom Albion. Go on yourself, Mikey. West Brom are showing keen interest in acquiring the 24-year-old's services, but they're looking for a loan as well. And there's no way that Celtic are going to loan out a player that is out of contract in the summer. There's absolutely no chance is anyone going to get loaned out that is back in the summer. that's out of contract in the summer. It's just never going to happen. So I'm not sure about that one. If Mikey Johnson is going to go, he's going to go in. If he goes in this transfer window, he'll be sold. Anyway, that's the Mikey Johnson one out the way. Uh, Talking about players that might leave in the summer, there's an awful lot of talk about, obviously, Matt O'Reilly leaving in the summer. There's even been speculation that Lil Abada could leave in the summer. And I think this is one that might gain a bit of traction because there's teams that have came in already and they've made an offer to take Lil Abada on loan, even though he has got that lengthy contract. I think Celtic went out and bought Nicholas Kuhn for one reason and one reason only, as a direct replacement for the one and only Lil Abada. So tell me what you think of that. Do you think that Nicholas Kuhn is a replacement for Lil Abada? I think he probably is. I think that's one transfer that might actually happen this summer. It'll be weird if it does, but because he's just signed that new contract. But you never know. I mean, we do have the likes of Hatate to come back. I think he might be away in the summer. Apparently, Hatate had a good game for Japan today. Hail, hail. Says Cineres. Yes, he did. He did. I'm going to start watching some of the Asia Cup games, actually, for the next week or so, just to see how our players are playing. Fair play rules enforce loans and with obligations to buy are the way forward for top clubs in January. Yeah, I think gone are the days, especially with the English Premiership. Remember, they used to spend like 300 or 400. It was near enough a billion. Mikey Johnson's contracted to the end of 2025. No, his contract's up at the end of this season. It's up at the end of this season. Brendan Rodgers said to him at the beginning of this season, if you want a new contract, do your talking on the pitch this season. He's given him his chance, and I think that personally, if Mikey Johnson gets the chance to go, I think he'll probably jump at the chance. To be honest, just to get first team football, there'll be at least 4 first team players leaving in the summer, says Paul Baird. Yeah, I think so too, Paul. It's definitely looking that way. Maureen Fraser says, "Hi guys, love the channel. Welcome aboard, Maureen Fraser. It's good to have you aboard." Right, other Celtic news that's kicking around this evening. Obviously, that one with Lil Abada. We're going to see how that transpires into the summer. I mean, nothing's going to happen before the summer. The summer's going to be an interesting one. I think this will be the summer where Celtic will cash in on a lot of the big assets. They didn't bring in these 9 players and last window for to sit around and go out on loan. So we'll see. We'll see. Rio's got Wheel Baldy 21 minutes from the beach today. Yes, it was that. Anyway, I haven't even got my hat on tonight. Didn't even notice that. Anyway, who cares? Right. Who do you think? This is one bit of interesting Celtic news that's kicking around. An interesting bit of Celtic news. Remember Paddy McCourt? Don't sell McCourt. Paddy McCourt. Just don't think you'd understand. And if you sell McCourt, there's going to be a riot on your hands. Paddy McCourt will leave Derry City after 8 years' service as the player, academy manager, and technical director. The 40-year-old Paddy McCourt is only 40. The former Northern Irish and Celtic winger decided to pursue a fresh career, fresh challenge the month after having some charges overturned against him. Anyway, the club would like to thank Paddy McCourt for all his hard work at the club. Paddy McCourt, he's been at Derry City for 8 years after he left Celtic. Anyway, the fixtures. Let's look at the fixtures. St Mirren versus Celtic has been announced. It is on the 11th of February. The Scottish Gas Cup 5th round tie away to St Mirren will take place on Sunday, the 11th of February, at a 2 o'clock kickoff. 2 o'clock kickoff. So that'll be 3 o'clock anywhere around Europe. The match will be shown live on VidPlay, and ticket arrangements will be announced for the match in due course. That's going to be an interesting game because St Mirren are doing quite well. When you look, get Paddy into your youth system, I don't think that would be appropriate after the charges that were. He did get found not guilty for the charges, but he'll never be back at Celtic. Anyway, yes, Sunday again, and it is absolutely crap for away fans, but it will be on the television, and we might do a watch along for that one also. Anyway. Players will be brought in, won't replace any player leaving. Do you think so? When you look at it, right, I'm going to say that, where was that story? That's the Atletico one. When you look at Abada, I think Nicholas Kuhn is definitely a player that's been brought in to either replace Dyson Maeda eventually or Lila Bada. It has to be brought in to be a replacement for at least one or two of those players. There's no way that we're going to sit with as many players. Celtic are preparing themselves for to cash in big style, and just maybe Brendan Rodgers will get his way and he'll get to buy in some real quality experienced players to head into the Champions League. I mean, the way it stands, I could see Celtic making £50 million on player sales next summer. Take that along with the 60 million that they're going to get from the Champions League. You've got to say it's going to be an interesting summer for Celtic. They're going to have all that money in the bank. They're sitting with about 80 million in the bank at the moment. It's unbelievable. Anyway, that fixture is out. Now, another one that's kicking around today. Did we talk about Mikey Johnson? We spoke about Mikey Johnson yet? Yeah, we did, didn't we? We spoke about Mikey Johnson and the fact that he might be leaving. We did, didn't we? Cross that one off. Mikey Johnson might be going to West Bromwich. Yeah, we did. We've done that one. Anyway, Atletico. Where's the Atletico story, actually? Right, here's one coming out of Spain, Football España. Football España is talking about the Matt O'Reilly one. He said that Celtic to turn down Atletico Madrid's offer to impress for the 23-year-old midfielder. Early on Wednesday, it was reported that Atletico Madrid had submitted an offer to Celtic for their midfield player, Matt O'Reilly. The 23-year-old Danish player has been a standout player in the SPFL this season, amassing 10 goals, 7 assists in the competitions. 5 and blah, blah, blah. Atleti are aware of O'Reilly, given they faced him in the jam, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Celtic are set to reject the offer with no plans to sell O'Reilly at this time. Will Celtic manage to keep a hold of Matt O'Reilly in the summer? 5 million brought in, 5 million spent, no doubt. Yeah, you know the way it's going to go. Abada will definitely be gone in the summer, says Paul Baird. Baz, get your hat on your dazzling eyes. Kev. Anyway, right, shut it. Right, let's get to some more Celtic news. I even forgot I had it on, but I wasn't really bothered tonight anyway. Nah, fuck it. Just leave it off. I was seeing my suntan. Did you see the suntan I got today? Anyway, it was absolutely roasting today. What the weather was like where you were. Right, let me see. Where was that Celtic news one? There's 174 on. How many Right, let me see if there's any more Celtic news coming out. Confirmed and out. Celtic, Peter Grant. Bruni reacting to the Eden McGeary reunion. And that's not really Celtic, but it is all been about. The fact is, right, if Celtic have got Paulo Bernardo, has Paulo Bernardo been brought in? Has Paulo Bernardo been brought in to long-term replace Matt O'Reilly? Keep O'Reilly for next year's Champions League. How much a buffer is enough? Yeah, that's true. Do you think? Do you really think? Tell me in the comments. Do you think that? Baz, thank God that Hartwell James Bond. Smell the glove. Just wait till another 2 weeks' time, because I'm been outdoors a lot recently, and see when you see the suntan I've got when you're all sitting in the absolute pissing rain in February, crying into your pint glasses because the weather's crap, and I'm actually going to do. I'm going to do one of these Celtic lives for outside. Once we get to the lighter nights, I'm going to be sitting outside. Sitting outside, I'm going to take the laptop and everything outside, sit outside with the palm trees in the background, and we'll do the Celtic lives from outside. Anyway, if Seagrass leaves, we'll probably need two keepers in the summer. But when you look at it, Evelyn John, how are you? Thought you had a shiny halo on. Yeah, probably did. Anyway, John, how are you? Kev has got your sister's fence to now fix, thanks to your dad. If you missed the live last night, you missed an absolute cracker. So we're all sitting talking about small. We're all talking about handball as well. I'm proud to say. See, smell the gloves. The thing is, right? See the pain that the pain in the ass that you've got to go through every 2 days, shaving your head with a fucking Gillette 5 blade razor, and then see the feeling that you get after it. It's absolutely brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. I love it. I love it. I wouldn't go back to having hair. I wouldn't do a brownie anyway. I couldn't do a brownie and start growing it again. I'd pay the half. I'd have the monks bit and everything. Anyway, we need quality players, not money in the bank. We're a football club. We're a football club and not a bank. That is definitely it. Yes, if you missed the live last night, we're all sitting talking about Celtic, and then up pops a comment. My fence is blown down, which had everyone in absolutely stick to your palm trees, which had everyone in absolute stitches, wondering where the random comment came from. And yes, it was my father. It was my father that decided to jump on YouTube and tell me that his fence is blown down, rather than doing a phone call or maybe just a text or something. But then we did have a laugh about it later on. Right, let's get to some notifications coming in. No, I'm just watching to see. Oh, there's nothing else. There was, I thought something flashed up about Celtic on Sky News there. But it's not. So it's Paulo Bernardo's birthday today. It's Paulo Bernardo's birthday today. Paulo Bernardo's birthday today. It's in North London today. Hey. Um, yeah, Pitbull skull shaver. Great. Used it once. Got a Pitbull skull shaver. I need to try that. Anyway, right. Has the one and only Bernardo been brought in as a replacement for Matt O'Reilly? Although it's good seeing the two of them placed up front, I think you can actually see. Ange Postecoglou used to talk about this. Ange Postecoglou used to talk about it and say, like, when you bring players in, you kind of want to get to the position where you know that a player's going to leave in the next transfer window or the transfer window after it. So you bring players in beforehand so that we can get them into the team, we can get them up to speed, and then it's just a case of when a player leaves, the replacement is already there in the team and sort of playing on a regular basis. And I think that's what's happening at Celtic just now. I think that's what's happening. No, Cameron Carter-Vickers hasn't signed a new deal yet. I think there's some allegations going around that he's not happy with the deal, but it's all to go down with bonuses. But I'm sure that'll be sorted out, and Celtic will make an announcement as soon as it happens. You've got, with the Carter Vickers one, Celtic will probably make that a deadline day deal. You know the way that Celtic like to work; they'll probably get it ranked, worked out, and they'll put it out as a deadline day deal. That's just the way the Celtic are. But getting back to the one and only Matt O'Reilly and Paulo Bernardo. Is Paulo Bernardo a replacement for Matt O'Reilly? We'll buy him in the summer with Matt O'Reilly leaving. We'll spend 6 million on Paulo Bernardo, 6.5 million on Paulo Bernardo, and we'll probably get about 20 odd million plus for Matt O'Reilly. It's just the way that Celtic are working. And then I think if Lila Bada leaves also, Nicholas Kuhn, Nico, is Nico's going to come in and take the place of Lila Bada. And it's all about progression. And I think it's just Celtic protecting themselves. And that's why they're getting the players on longer contracts, because they know that this is the way that it's going to happen now. It's just you're going to get one player in, and it's just going to be that conveyor belt. So there's nothing we can do. It is the Celtic model. We are at the lower end of the tree as it comes, the feeding ground of football players. But if Matt O'Reilly does go in the summer, we wish him all the best. But it's not going to happen, so we move on from that. Right, the next one, that we've done the Lila Bada one, we've done the fixture. Who is all going? I wonder how many tickets we'll get. St Mirren have never come out and said how many tickets yet. I'm on St Mirren's site. Fixture confirmation. That is all they've got. The 11th of February, 2 o'clock kickoff. I might do a watch along for that one, just for the banter. Right, let's click on and get some more Celtic news. Also, if you look at the top of the chat, there is a pinned chat, and that takes you through to an Amazon link. If you do any shopping on Amazon at all, make sure you click on that before you do your shopping on Amazon. That's all I'm saying. Right, let me see what other Celtic announce return of Tasha Flint as the Celtic women's team. No, there's not a lot of more kicking around. Celtic to knock back O'Reilly. The Mabovsky one, Mabovsky from Aberdeen, is still kicking about. That transfer one. 2.8. Just let me just check this out. 22 is from Rocco Vata. I wonder if Rocco Vata will sign that new deal or if he'll disappear. Or will he just sign a pre-contract agreement? That'd be a slap in the face to Celtic if he just signs a pre-contract agreement. Mavovsky, so that's really impressed. Despite Aberdeen's struggles, yeah. What about Aberdeen? They're way down the bottom of the table. Skill set. I don't think anything's going to happen with that one, Aberdeen. If it's going to be a late one in the window, if anything. Right, anyway, Celtic are sitting at the top of the league. We're back to league action this weekend against Ross County. Ross County, who are sitting in 11th position down at the bottom of the table, with just Livingston below them at 21 games played. Livingston have 12 points. Ross County have 19 games played on 18 points, so they can still jump up the table, but it's highly unlikely that they will. Celtic are sitting on 54 points at the top of the table, sitting 2 games clear of our arch rivals, the Rangers, who are on 46 points. It's absolutely paramount that Celtic win at the weekend and keep the winning streak going. I think it's going to be a win against Ross County. I mean, let's face it, they've only won 1 out of their last 5 games, and they only had 1 draw and then 3 losses. What do you think? The Celtic Ross County. We'll talk about that tomorrow evening. We'll preview that game and who we think might play. It'll be interesting because if Matt O'Reilly doesn't play, he's definitely had his head turned. Definitely has had his head turned. Anyway, let's get back to some of the comments. Smell the glove, shave my head since I was 27, says Smell the glove. Now 50. I wasn't. Yeah, I've been shaving mine for 4 years now. I've been shaving mine for 4 years, and I love it. Absolutely love it. Anyway, personally, O'Reilly goes nowhere. As for CCV, looks like he's off shortly. I don't think it's so Ray. I think he'll stay at the summer also, but I think he will sign that new deal. It's all apparently it's coming down to bonuses. It's coming down to the bonuses. Stephen says, "What's happening, Baz and troops?" John says, "How come the zombies can spend millions they don't have?" Um, Listen, don't believe anything that the papers say about how much money they spend. Because remember, in the summer they said they spent around about 20 or 30 million, and in reality they spent about 5. Um, 1967, Doc says Vata, the non-Celtic first team, 18-year-old, everyone's going on about signing him. Why? He's not good enough. He'll be another Mikey Johnson at best. Will he be another Mikey Johnson? Stuart Carey says, I would give Vata a new deal if he thinks he's better than us. I would say ta-ta, then good luck with that. Michael Ross says Celtic should be cheeky and offer a swap deal for Griezmann. I'm totally with you with that. I'm totally with you with that. But would Matt O'Reilly fit in the pitch beside Griezmann? I tell you, that would be a good one. Celtic should do that. Say, right, if you want him on loan, give us Griezmann at the end of the season. And I would do a loan deal with that. So your transfer news of the week so far has obviously been Lila Barra has had some loan inquiries about him. The 22-year-old has been a target at West Brom, Southampton, Watford. The German club was made of interest. And see, when they say, when the media comes out and say that there's been a French club, a German club, take that with a pinch of salt. Take it with a pinch of salt. It's just the speculation trying to increase and get players out the window. Rocco Vata has obviously been talking to other clubs, but his dad and his mother say that he's not going anywhere and he should stay at Celtic. And he needs to iron out his grievances, whatever grievances he has. And when he came on the pitch at the weekend, it looks like he's not got much grievances with the boss anymore. Matt O'Reilly, Celtic have received that bid from Atletico Madrid. And that's the first official bid that's came in for Matt O'Reilly, with the initial loan with obligation to buy outright in the summer. Celtic are in a strong position. They've got him on a long contract, so that one's not going to go anywhere, and that will put to bed any thoughts of any lower league English teams thinking that they can come in and get him on the cheap. Mavovsky for Aberdeen. I don't know. Don't think that one will happen at all. Mikey Johnson. He could be on his way to West Brom Albion. I don't know if that would be a good move for him, but they're exploring. They're exploring. Swoop for the player before transfer deadline day. And then there's the keeper situation. If we get rid of one keeper, Celtic are going to Celtic swap Mikey Johnson for Griezmann. Tell you what, I know what we'll do. If they want him, right? Why don't we just put a picture of James McCarthy up and say, yeah, this is him. This is him. We'll put a picture of James McCarthy up and say, there you go. Enjoy the sunbite. You've earned it. Ricky, I've not earned it. It's my life. It's my life. It is my life. It was a hard decision to make, but we made that jump 4 years ago. 4 years ago now. Jesus. How time flies. I can remember when going to my last. If anybody here's the thing, right? If anybody had said to me in February 2020, when I was last at a Celtic, well, it wasn't my last Celtic game, but it was before lockdown, right? If anyone had said to me, and remember, I'd been abroad that season with Celtic in the Europa, and I remember going to France and down to Rennes. If anyone had said to me then that that trip in Rennes would be your last away trip with Celtic for years, I'd have said they were absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. And then when lockdown came and then everything just went the way it did, we seen an opportunity to just jump ship, which we did. Which is, I don't know why I'm talking about this in this channel, but no, when it comes to Celtic, I mean, I was going to games week in, week out, right up until then. I still had my season ticket 2 seasons after I moved to Spain. 2 seasons after I moved to Spain. And yeah, I was one of those ones, but I didn't. I gave it to somebody that was back home and they were using the seat. And then I was like, nah, I'm not paying for it. So I've give it to someone else who's going to get a better use out of it than me. Anyway, Joseph says, hail, Baz, Matt O'Reilly, what price is going for? I hope Celtic don't sell them on the cheap. O'Reilly will go for between 25 and 30 million in the summer. If it's the like of Atletico Madrid that's coming in for him, realistically, I'll see them putting in a starting offer at about 20 million. If Abada stays, surely Forrest could go to air, get 5 months football, he's stealing a wage. Same as McCarthy, Bain, Segrist, but no one slags him off. 1967 Doc. Nobody's slagging James off because he's done what McCarthy couldn't do. He's done what Benji Segrist could never do. James Forrest is a Celtic legend, and what he's did over his career at Celtic, if he just sits at the end of his contract, so what? The manager knows he's a great player to bring on, and it's not just about. And this is going to get me on a rant. Yo, legend, Ro Kaiser, how are you? James Forrest is sitting in the dressing room because he has experience. When it comes into later parts of the season, there's nothing better than having a player in the background, players that have been at the club, and especially at a club like Celtic, because when all these new foreign players come into the club, there's not many Scottish players left that know what Celtic are really all about, that know what it means to play for Celtic, and and that's your club. You've been at Celtic that long, came through the youth system, and it's they know how the fans are feeling. And when you get rid of all the players like that, you just become another club. I'm sorry, but you just become another club. So getting rid of the likes of James Forrest and that, just because he's sitting around doing nothing, you've got to think of the bigger picture of what's actually going on in the background. All that experience that James Forrest has got. James Forrest he's got more medals than fucking World War II fucking nonce running about with his Union Jack singing God Save the Queen at Ibrox, for goodness sake. Anyway, Forrest's main man, love him, says Graham Hardy. Baz, what said 10, 15 minutes ago. What? Baz, what? What said 10, 15 minutes? What are you talking about? I have no idea. Forrest has done it all at Celtic. He's been there for years. Of course he has. Of course he has. He's been here for absolute donkey's years. Anyway, 67. Michael Ross says 67 for Matt O'Reilly. 67 for Matt O'Reilly, or they can F off. So pay Forrest 20 quid to sit in the stand and be a cheerleader in the dressing room. Geez peace. Doc, you don't know what it's like to play football for Celtic. I couldn't think of a better player to sit and motivate players. Anyway, it's called the One Celtic Fans View for a reason, and we all are allowed. Oh wow, the count has went up this evening. The count has went up live on air. Remember, it was what 14,769. It's now 14,772. Make sure that we get to 15,000 before Valentine's Day. That is the call to all Celtic fans. So make sure that you share this and get it on. Let's forget the 100 and odd and 100 odd assists for the club. Yeah, I know. The 100 and odd goals. How many players have done 100 goals and 100 assists? When Ronnie Dyler was bringing in Celtic logo says no. If you had time, a bit Scottish media. Paul Baird says, I said yesterday, Forrest deserves a respect. He does that. He does that. So anyway, we move on from that. Let's see what other Celtic news is kicking about. Matt O'Reilly sparks Celtic transfer deja vu as Atletico Madrid told Jota threshold is the only route to deal. There we go. It's coming out tonight then that if Celtic, if Atletico Madrid want him, it's going to cost them 25 million plus to get the player. Will they? They're not going to come out with this money this much. See McCann. Yeah, they're saying it's going to take in the region of 25 million for Matt O'Reilly, and that won't happen until the summer. And it won't happen until the summer, and Celtic will make sure that it is money up front. Anyway, who's the snitch said it's a joke, Baz. What's a joke? What are you talking about? Who's the snitch? What's your other comments? Guys, I would love Forrest to be at the club, one club player. I think he will be a one club player, and the same as Callum McGregor. Those two players will be one club players, and they'll go down as absolute legends, and they'll get jobs in the backroom staff of Celtic. Look, if if you look at the likes of Darren O'Dea, if Darren O'Dea can get a job in the backroom staff and the B team of Celtic, but I forgot. Darren O'Dea smashed the Huns. Darren O'Dea smashed the Huns. Right. Fish and Stevie says, Celtic remain top of the SPL. Europe, poor team under the board. Helm, she'll bring in 25 million and replacement only 3 or 4. I think the replacement is Fish and Steve. I think the replacement is already in place. I think the replacement for Matt O'Reilly is Paulo Bernardo. Don't be too surprised if that happens. Paulo Bernardo is your replacement for the one and only Matt O'Reilly, I'm afraid. And that's just the way it is. That's the way I see it. It'll be interesting to see when Rio Hatate, is it from... What? Oh, don't do films. That's my missus. Jinky Larson Forrest. Jinky Larson Forrest? That'd be could you imagine that team? Could you imagine those three? If you could get a dream team. Dream team. That's a video for another night. That's a live for the other night. We'll do a dream team live night. We'll do a dream team. Who do you think your lives? Fish and Stevie says wouldn't surprise me. No, I'm when you look at it, when you look at the way that Celtic have done things over the last couple of years, and I spoke about it, I think it was this morning's video. We're talking about the change of policy from Celtic, bringing in these players on 5 years deals. 5.5-year deals. Nicholas Kuhn, 5.5-year deal. You probably get Paulo Bernardo will be offered a 5-year contract at Celtic. And this is all about Kieran Tierney is injured again. I know he's having a hard time in Spain. He is going to be one of those players that will sadly have to retire at 30. And people are saying bring him back home, bring him to Celtic. No chance. People are going on about Jamesy. Right, there we go. You're going to get me going again. Jamesy Forrest, right? People are going on about Jamesy Forrest, right? How many times has James Forrest been injured over his career at Celtic? Right? Go on, tell me in the comment section how many seasons, how many games has James Forrest missed through being injured? There was one where he had his thigh, one season. There's not as many. There's not as many. I'll tell you one thing. There's not as many as Kieran Tierney. Loved Kieran Tierney when he was at Celtic the first time round, but he's way far too injured. I mean, people are saying get rid of James Forrest because he's sitting on the bench doing nothing. You bring back Kieran Tierney, he's sitting on the bench half a season injured. He's never had a full season in years. Anyway, Michael Ross says, will we sell Matt O'Reilly in the summer? Yes, I think we will. It's going to be difficult to keep him when you've got the likes of Atletico Madrid come calling. That's setting the bar. That's setting the bar, and it's setting the level of club that he's going to go to. And I have been saying it for weeks now. I said Matt O'Reilly is not going to go to a club that's kicking about mid-table the English Premiership. You know, these clubs that are in the English Championship, Leicester and Leeds, and they're thinking if we get up, we're going to go for Matt O'Reilly. You've not a chance. We've not a chance. They've not a chance. Matt O'Reilly is going to go to one of the top teams in Europe. He's going to go to a team that's consistently in the Champions League because that's the way that I see his career going. We're going to look back year's time. I hope he does come to Spain because I'm going to go and try and see him at a game, which would be fantastic for us. Anyway, KT ruined himself at Celtic every game. He was injured and they still made him play him. A shame for him. David Stocker says, shut the window and no first team players leaving in January. Yeah, I don't think we'll. I think there will be some players that will leave. SL17, love Tierney, but he's a consistent sick note. He is that. He is that. I shall think of the warm weather in Spain more than the millions on offer. Fish and Stevie, he's going to look at the whole package, right? And if Atletico Madrid are going to come knocking for him, don't be too surprised if the likes of Barcelona maybe come calling for him. Will Real Madrid come calling for him? Yeah. Setting the bar, yes, but it's your round, Baz. And Michael, come over anytime. Anyway, that might be something in the future. Anyway, Arteta has ruined KT at Arsenal. Yeah, he did that. He did that. Right, let me see. How long have we been on? I need to jump onto the live stream. But we have been on for 37 minutes this evening. Right, Pat McGuire says Dutch, Danish, Belgian, Norwegian, Swedish players from the SPFL equivalent leagues for large transfer fees. Matt O'Reilly is a 30 million minimum player. He's a class act. This is very true. When you look at players that are coming from all these leagues and going to Spain, they are going for that kind of money. And when you're going to the bigger clubs, they're all going for in the region about 30 million. How's that Man City? Oh man, I'm just it's not. I'm keeping an eye on Sky News just in case any breaking headlines happen. David Hibslop says, just remember, there's no one bigger than Celtic. There is no one bigger than Celtic, but the window does shut a week tomorrow night in Scotland. Watch the loans in and out. Yeah, we'll probably do a live that night. What night is it? Yeah, the missus. It'll be a late night, but who cares? Anyway, Stuart Ramsey, evening, Baz. Stuart, you're always coming in just towards the end. You're always coming in towards the end. What's going on here? We need a left back and a goalkeeper, says Jamie. We do need that, and we need to be. Do you know what's really disturbing when it comes to Celtic? And which is a bit of surprise because you think about all these players that we're bringing in, all the players that we're bringing in for replacements. Paulo Bernardo is going to be a replacement for Matt O'Reilly. Nico Kuhn is a replacement for either Abada or Dyson Maida. But we've never brought in anyone. Well, we need to get rid. The problem being is we need to get rid of Benjamin Siegrist. I think if Benjamin Siegrist can get pushed out the door before see what I said, buys 36 million euros with a 30% selling loan obligation to buy the same as transfer. Yeah, I don't think it'll be. It could be around about 36 million euros. I think you'll get the 30% selling clause. I don't think the loan with obligation. I don't think that'll happen. Celtic will make sure that doesn't happen. The reason that they want the loan with obligation is so that they can get the player now, and they're not waiting until the summer because they know when it comes to the summer, there will be an auction. There'll be an auction for Matt O'Reilly's services, and that's why Atletico Madrid are trying to get the player now. They're trying to get. They've managed. I'm looking just now. Just wait. I'll go back onto this. Um, they have got a few other players in on loan already this transfer window, and that's with the view to looking forward to next season. So it does seem to be the way that the Spanish team is going just now. Atletico Universe is saying. Anyway, so we move on for them. It's going to be a tough week. It's going to be a tough week for all Celtic fans, hoping that Celtic absolutely. It's a Stuart thing, Baz. It always come on late. Yeah, it is that. There shall be an auction in the summer, I believe so. Yeah, there will be. There'll be an auction in the summer for Matt O'Reilly, and it'll be to the highest bidder. There's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it. Celtic will make. And look at the profit Celtic's going to make. I mean, we bought him for 1.5 million. And I hope MK Dons have got a good sell-on clause because they'd be entitled to a massive chunk of money. What we need to happen now, is a little player that's playing in Germany that Celtic sold is to be sold for 50 million in the summer. And then that'll give Celtic another 10 million or so. Anyway, we'll see that. No chance will Matt really leave this transfer window. No, I don't think he will. I've said it before. I said it before this announcement was even made today that I didn't think Celtic would let Matt O'Reilly go this window. I think Brendan Rodgers has obviously spoke to the player. He knows that the player will eventually leave Celtic, but it's all about the level of the club that he goes to. Anyway, Paul Emery says, I know that feeling. Stuart, Paul Walton says, I think Abada will be off in the summer. Yep, we've already said that. That's the reason we're signing these wingers. Paul, that's what I've just said. I think that's the reason that we've got in Nicholas Kuhn just now, because he's going to be a direct replacement for Lil Abada. Fishing Stevie says the things the Celtic are selling their best assets, no good for Europe. Look, I think that Celtic know that it takes a bit of luck in the Champions League and a little bit of experience. And yes, keeping Matt O'Reilly would be fantastic for the Champions League. Abada's not really been in the Champions League the last couple of seasons, so let's. You don't know what's going on. You don't know as fans, we all want the best for the club. We all want the best for Celtic. We want to keep the best players at the club and try and have that one decent chance. Try and have that 2003 moment just once again in our lifetime. Just have it once again in our lifetime. Trying to get it to a UEFA. With the way that the Champions League goes next year, you won't be able to drop down into the UEFA. So it's all going to be just about amassing as many points as possible in the Champions League and making as much money. I think the future of the club going forward is at Champions League level. Do we really want to win the league and then go through qualifiers to get into the Champions League just to get embarrassed? And I mean, Brendan Rodgers says, look, in the Champions League, you need a bit of luck. When you look back at the last campaign, you had a couple of players that got sent off. And in their day, you know, Dyson getting sent off. He doesn't know European football really. He's not a European. We need to get a European style of player in, and it has to be more savvy. And I think that maybe that's why we're building for Europe. Maybe that's why we're bringing in the likes of Nicholas Kuhn, because he's a European player. Maybe that's what Brendan Rodgers has said. He said it's okay. We had this transformation under Ange, and we got players in that are going to be sellable assets. Not all of them are going to make us vast amounts of money, but we need players in that can compete at Europe and know how to play the European style of football. And maybe that's what Brendan Rodgers is doing. Maybe that's what's going on. Brendan Rodgers, you've got to remember, has said it's going to take 2 or 3 windows for him to get the Celtic team he wants. So he's not going anywhere. He has said it's going to take him a couple of windows. Right? This is only his real first window. This window is Brendan Rodgers' first window. When he came in at Celtic, he was handed 9 players on a plate. Please, can I have some more? Oh, wait a minute. What's they saying about it was West Ham. I was just seeing if I was saying anything about Celtic, but they're not. Anyway, right. Let's get back to some of the comments before we are done for tonight. Michael Ross says, Bill for Europe. James says, not while Law is back at the club. Ricky Kelly says, is there any work for Bricky's Law? Only if you can speak Spanish. Only if you can speak. If you're fluent Spanish, yeah, there probably is. Fish and Stevie says Celtic have near around 80 million in the bank. It could be another 60 million. Looks like it if we win the league and go straight into the Champions League. That's 140 million. Sales in and possibly O'Reilly, Abada, two of our good guys. If that happens, it could be that Celtic are sitting when the season starts next year with around about 200 million in the bank. If that happens, just close the doors, give them their bonus and try and get in some fresh blood onto the board. Maybe James has stayed because he had never had an offer from another club, says Sam. Michael Ross says potentially 10 games in the Champions League next year. Chucked out of Europe and dump at the F Cup. What next? Yeah, I know. Celtic will never compete in the Champions League, says 1977 Doc. It says, get real, Celtic could spend 40 million and finish bottom of the group because every other team in the group stages will improve more than we will. Stuart McLaren is hail from Perth, Scotland. Fantastic part of the country. I used to do a lot of work up in Perth back in the day. Anyway, CC Senior. It's not as easy as that. Right, we've been on for 45 minutes tonight. That is it. I am done and dusted. We've had over 863 views in the video. The average time that people have been on, yeah, it's been not too bad. Anyway, if Celtic kept our better players and had quality, we would do much better in Europe. Yeah, we all know that. But the way that Celtic go, it's never going to work like that. Anyway, that's me done for this evening's live. I'm going to sit and watch some brain-numb television with the missus. Celtic had 200 million if Lawwell spent on the cheap and kept it in his pocket. Yes. Tamac says, hail, hail. Kaiser, hail, hail, bro, and I'll catch you all tomorrow evening. And on that note, have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans. Adios, amigo. Hasta luego. And